life and death, and the space between the stars.
Should I look at you? Should we just, yeah. Cool.
Oh crap, it's actually, it's not, I have to bring it up an octave. I didn't even look at it.
I'll do it. Or I'll write it in. Do it.
I can just move it though and print it again.
Oh, okay. If that's easier. Yeah, there's
No, it's hard, right?
Yep.
I should
Just
just like,
because it's the same thing.
it's the same
So
thing as
times-
C and E.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Even Zoe was shaming me on the iPad. She's like, I have an extra one upstairs.
An extra one.
Just learn how to use it. Okay.
It's, you know, it makes life easier in certain ways. It does, like page turn wise.
Really?
Well, now that we sit next to, we sit by ourselves and really and stuff like that, like, it's just so much better than
I know.
page turn.
People were like, my Stanford wanted to use it, and I was like, no.
And that's okay.
Because he was like, do you have an iPad that you can use? Doesn't it make you feel far away though?
But, I mean, I do have the bigger one that I use for orchestra. Like, I don't use these anymore. Yeah, and the bigger one is like reading off of music.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's if I choose to do that.
Yes.
hi. Okay, here's the order of service.
Great.
If you guys want to, we can
all
get
these
another
names that are not on here.
one. That says it's just internal, so.
Oh, okay, good.
It's not really, it's correct on the slides and stuff. How long do you think your pavane is?
We can cut,
I mean, is it the full, is it like
no,
6
here, I'll
minutes?
show you. No.
Okay.
It's one page and it's basically, that happens twice. There's that the bridge section, so the melody, bridge, melody.
Okay, it's probably like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll just start that like 2 minutes of time.
Okay.
Okay, so I just moved the entire
Awesome.
part up
Great.
an octave. Can we just?
Lovely. Yep.
And that's just E.
Yep.
Can
But
we-
I'll do the insert at
Do you want to
C
just
and
try
then-
like getting in and out
Sure.
of it real quick?
Sure. Yeah, so. And do you want me to pits?
It's the
And
same
on
deal. Well, like
the last time on the I'll do it arco.
It's pits. So pits at C. Whoops, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Pits at C, pits at E, and then arco
on the
and we
last
go
time.
back.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, you want to try?
Yeah, I'll go from here and then yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do like right before the ba-da-ba-das. Like 2 measures. Like.
Or we can start from wherever.
What measures are you using?
Yeah. And then you go to your solo right there. Oh, so on C there's no key.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Okay. So just
Want a pencil for
yes, please.
So, yeah, when it's C, it's just once through. Okay, so then you jump back to your solo,
Solo and then yep.
and then play, and then yep. Perfect. Okay,
Doable.
we're doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's like my favorite.
This
thing
is
in
such a
the
good song.
entire string
Yeah,
collection.
I love this band. So. Cool.
All right.
All right, now just remind me of the horn. Sorry, Adrian.
past.
No, no,
Good morning, First Unitarian. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have that written here 3 times, so I figured I'd say that right away. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our guest musicians, Sarah Fear and Adrian Short. Thank you. They will be offering a concert here in our sanctuary on Saturday, March 5 at 11 a.m. The concert will last about an hour and is family friendly. You can read more in this coming week's first announce regarding that. Welcome to those of you here in the sanctuary, and welcome to all of you watching from wherever you are, whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your color or background, whether you are old or young, whether you are poor or comfortable, a place has been made for you, and we're glad, I mean elated, that you're here. Our call to worship today is from Sufi poet Hafiz. I know the way you can get when you have not had a drink of love. Your face hardens, your sweet muscles cramp. Children become concerned about a strange look that appears in your eyes, which even begins to worry your own mirror and nose. Squirrels and birds sense your sadness and call an important conference in a tall tree. They decide which secret code to chant to help your mind and soul. Even angels fear that brand of madness that arrays itself against the world and throws sharp stones and spears into the innocent and into oneself. Oh, I know the way you can get if you have not been drinking love. You might rip apart every sentence your friends and teachers say, looking for hidden clauses. You might weigh every word on a scale like a dead fish. You might pull out a ruler to measure from every angle in your darkness the beautiful dimensions of a heart you once trusted. I know the way you can get if you have not had a drink from love's hands. That is why all the great ones speak of the vital need to keep remembering the unity, so you will come to know and see it as being so plateful and wanting, just wanting to help. That is why Hafiz says, "Bring your cup near me, for all I care about is quenching your thirst for freedom. All a sane person can ever care about is giving love." Come on, Randall. Oh boy, mechanical things. Thank God. Once again, welcome.
softly soaring through my atmosphere.
Good morning. I've got a goodie bag today for Time for All Ages. So we're going to transform together today. Can we do that? It's a big ask, right? So stand if you're willing or able, wherever you are. So I want you to imagine that you are a snowflake floating to the ground. You might twist and turn a little, but you're floating. And then you're going to land gently, standing or sitting, whatever works for you. And then I want you to feel yourself warmed by the sun. Lose your edges and allow yourself to melt. Send your vital waters deep into the earth. And then I want you to imagine being absorbed in the roots and cells of a plant that is so grateful that you've showed up. I want you to fill up that organism with the life and energy that you have until you become part of that growing item. And then expand yourself upward and spread your whole self outward. And stretch towards some new possibilities. And then shake and settle into exactly where you are. Part of something bigger than yourself that would not be exactly the same if you were not a part of it. And then breathe in some peace. And breathe out some love. You can sit down if you would like to. At this point, we don't need to expand anymore at this moment. So I wanted to start out by saying I love working here. Love it. And I love being here with you in this way, whether you're at home or you're here in the sanctuary with us. I love being a part of this community. And I love that we are spread out. And even with the spread, we keep growing, sort of like a fungus. Mike is going to talk about fungus today in the sermon. So I had a fun week trying to figure out what I was going to do up here. So did you know that there are so many different types of fungus in the world? So many, like a whole lot, like more than we can even count or know, and that there are new discoveries being made all the time. Fungi are everywhere, and I live with 3 fungi at home. I couldn't not. You know what I mean? I couldn't not. Okay, so I also know some fun girls and fun people of all sorts, and tomorrow I'm supposed to send them all Valentines. Oh, hey, I got you a Valentine. It says First Unitarian. So I'm just going to open it for you. It would be hard to pass it around and have everybody read it. It would take a long time. So it says, love can be a family. Love can be a friend. Love can be a kiss or a hug or a Valentine you send. Love can be a kindness or a helpful thing you do. Love can be a smile or the words, I'm here for you. Love can be all different things and shown in many ways. And love is what I'm sending you today and every day. Happy Valentine's Day. So I'll put that in the back if you want to take a look at it. But I like the idea that love is lots and lots of different things, just like fungus is lots and lots of different things. Sharing and spreading love can happen in so many different forms and different ways, like writing Valentines, or telling bad jokes, or sharing a hug with somebody you haven't seen in a long time. What other examples do you have of ways that we can share love? Just yell them out. And you have masks on, so you might need to push a little bit. But just start yelling.
Making common cookies.
Guys, we're growing a love fungus right now. Look at it. It's a fungus of love. It just keeps going until you can wrap yourself up in it. Okay? There we go. Love and fungus. I did it. Okay. I hope that your love spreads like the best sort of fungus among us this week. Have a beautiful week.
Hi, I'm Sally Isaacson, and I am your assistant treasurer. But I'm up here in a different way today. This is the first time I noticed these chairs turned the wrong way. Anyway, this morning when I was getting ready to come to church, I was so excited. I was actually going to be sort of dressed up. I wasn't going to be in sweats. I was going to be dressed up. And I was going through my closet and throwing, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. And I realized how much of the things that I have bought in the past seem worthless, seem way too many of them. And I have a lot of buyer's remorse. But what I don't have buyer's remorse is this community. I love giving my financial commitment and then filling it. This church has done so much for me in the last 27 years. And it helped me raise my daughter, who's fantastic, and I'm totally objective. And it has given me such close and wonderful friends, and it has made me, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna say slightly better person. And it has made me think about so many different things that I probably would have skipped over. And so when I'm up here, I think, oh yeah, we've got a basket in the back for those who are here. And this red basket is happy to collect your just spontaneous gift or your pledge or, oh, I don't know, another Valentine. But anyway, that's what I'm pushing today, is giving money into the red basket and thinking about what this church means to you and how we can help you and how we can support you as we all struggle through start of year number 3 and don't know what the hell is going to be happening. So that's it. I hope you'll be generous both here and at home. You know, you can always go online and donate there. Thank you.
Good morning, First Unitarian. I just can't even tell you how good it is to have this room be full of live human beings talking and smiling and sharing and meeting and greeting each other. Can't even tell you. Warms my heart. I want to hold up a few joys and concerns of our larger community today. I want to hold up and celebrate with Paul and Susan Riederer, who will celebrate their 49th anniversary this week. That's a good long time. I want to hold up that Mary Jo Geyer and Ray Burdett, who are both here today, are recovering from respective surgeries. Mary got a new hip, Ray got a new knee. How you got through that at home, I don't know, but I'm glad you're here, glad you are healing. I want to hold up some prayers for peace in Ukraine. I want to pray that wiser heads will prevail in that tense, complex situation. I want to pray that differences can be settled without blood, that paranoia be replaced with sister and brotherhood, that life and safety be placed above conquest and winning. I also want to send out some support this morning to all the people out there, and there's a bunch of them, who deal every day with hostile work environments, who have bosses who don't treat them well, who are subject to toxic workplace politics, who carry that enormous stress with them all the time. I want to send out prayers of strength and courage and clarity to you if that is your life. We see you. We know what you endure. We stand with you. That's hard stuff. Our prayer today will probably be somewhat familiar to you. 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when wholeness emerges, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. And the greatest of these is love. Amen.
so grateful to Sarah and Adrian for being here. I just wanted to mention that this is just half of the Highlands Square Ensemble. There were some complexities today that made it so 2 members couldn't come. I attended their concert in October, and it was transcendent. If you're like me, you probably haven't been seeing a lot of live music lately, so I really encourage you to join on March 5th. I think it will be fabulous.
After all the years that I have wandered, all the questions I have pondered, spinning round and round and round again. After all the life that I have wasted, all the bitterness I've tasted, bring to me the searching to an end. And see, God is the river that flows, home is wherever He goes. Love is everything, it's everything we need to know. We are much more than we seem. Life is much more than we dream, more than suffering through an endless night. And the darkness can never hold us, just like the masters told us, when we choose to step into the light. And see, God is the river that flows, home is wherever she goes. Love is everything, it's everything we need to know. much more than we dream, more than suffering through an endless night. Love is everything, it's everything, everything we need to know.
Oh, it is good to have this space filled up with live music again. Amen. I want to thank Aaron for bringing the love fungus this morning. That love fungus is growing here in this room. It's growing even with all the folks out there watching on their screens this morning. Welcome, everyone. So I've been having some fun with fungi. Amusement with mycelia, enjoyment with enzymes, hijinks with hyphae. You know I love a lively metaphor. Today I want to consider some of the ways in which fungi act like love, or maybe it's love that act like fungi, or something like that. Either way, we need more of both love and fungus among us, as it were. Couple things I learned about fungus on the way to my comments this morning. Fungi is one of the 5 classifications of life, all of life as we know it, according to biologists. The other 4 classifications of life are bacteria, which are basically living things that have no nucleus, cells mostly. Protista, which are single-celled creatures in many varieties that do, in fact, have a nucleus. Plantae, which includes all of the roughly 250,000 species of plants all over the world. And Animalia, a classification into which Homo sapiens somewhat recently evolved. Homo sapiens, by the way, continue to be utterly dependent upon the other 4 classifications, but not the other way around. Fungi, as Aaron mentioned, fungi are everywhere, in every soil, in every animal. They are in the coldest, deepest oceans. They are in the sediments beneath the oceans. Fungi are found in the vast desert sands of northern Africa and Central Asia. They are even carried on the wind in the form of spores. Fungi are astonishingly diverse and adaptable. Humans have identified about 150,000 types of fungi, but it's estimated that there are something like 1.5 million distinct fungal species. And if you do the math, that means that our ignorance of mushroom exceeds our knowledge by at least an entire order of magnitude. Not the only thing of which our ignorance exceeds our knowledge. A fairly functional definition of fungi is that fungi break down and feed on organic stuff. Many bacteria do that also, but again, they do it without a nucleus or organelles in their cell structure. Genetically, evolutionarily, I think this is so fascinating, you and I are more closely related to fungi than we are to plants. Most notably because both fungi and us, along with every other animal on the planet, we receive all our nourishment from outside of ourselves, as opposed to plants, which create their own nourishment through photosynthesis. When you and I die, it will be bacteria and fungi that break down our cells and structures into their chemical elemental parts to be reused or redistributed in the larger ecosystem. Another fun fungi fact is that the largest single living organism on Earth is a fungus. Bigger than blue whales, bigger than the aspen grove in Utah, Pando, that we talked about a few months ago. Armillaria ostoyae, as it's called by people who study fungi, covers, believe it or not, almost 2,400 acres of eastern Oregon. Nearly 4 square miles. A single fungal organism almost entirely underground, where it has been expanding for something around 3,000 to 8,000 years. Significantly older than Jesus. The last 40 years have been a time of tremendous growth in the field of mycology, that's the study of fungi. Fungi were once thought to be mostly passive decomposers of fallen leaves and trees, but we know now that fungi and fungal networks in the soil are like the internet of ecosystems. Fungi send out hyphae, tiny filaments of themselves which touch and often encircle the roots and all manner of plants, forming mycorrhizal networks through which fungi move and transfer water, sugars, phosphors, nitrogen, and other complex molecules. Through those networks, fungi live in symbiotic relationship, making the medium through which symbiotic relationships exist in ecosystems, providing water and nourishment to plants in exchange for sugars and oxygen. So when you walk through a forest or a field, buried beneath every single step you take are millions of miles of mycelium. The tiny thread-like fungal filaments intertwined with roots and soil, and without which the ecosystem you are living in would not exist. There are very serious scientists right now who argue that forest ecosystems, the whole systems with fungi acting like a kind of a nervous system, are essentially sentient, in the sense that local ecosystems are aware of their larger environment, respond to changes in those environments, and behave with intelligence when threatened with things like droughts or fires or invasive species. The whole system of living things, both below and above the ground, the whole ecosystem communicates and cooperates and acts together. That's a whole different way of thinking or even conceiving about a forest. All right. What on earth has all this got to do with love? Bear with me a minute. Learning about fungi and how fungi works in ecosystems has made me think of like how when you walk through a gathering of people, like maybe this one, this morning, and in every spoken word, heard, received, or ignored, in every eye contact, in every passing gesture, every nuance of body language, the qualities of human nobility and neuroses, and love and fear and desire and boredom and hunger or hurt are always present. Always moving, overlapping fields of energy, mutually affecting. I like to think the common denominator is love. Love, like tiny filaments intertwined through our hearts and through our souls, sending information and nourishment and life-giving connection vital to the survival of both our individual souls and the larger human ecosystem on which we depend. When I officiate weddings, I often tell the assembled to remember that the love that will sustain this couple, whoever they happen to be, the love that will sustain a couple is part of a larger love that moves through all of creation, and it moves through you. This love that moves through everything, this love is yours. It's yours to use. It's a gift. It's your birthright. It is a blessing. I tell people that you can recognize this love when it's moving through you by some really simple things. You can recognize this love moving through you by the urge that you feel to seek harmony and balance. You can recognize this love moving through you by the joy you find in your own body when it moves or works or rests or replenishes with grace and with purpose. You can recognize this love moving within you by a sense of gratitude that you can't explain. It just comes out of nowhere. You can recognize this by the wish you have for your own or another's spiritual growth and wholeness. And sometimes, depending on the wedding and if the Spirit is moving, sometimes I'll just go on and on about that. I say you can recognize this love moving through you by the intuition you feel, right? The knowledge you have in your body that your own wholeness happens when you share the very best of yourself with another. When you stay in relationship, digging deep for the resources you need to do that, sharing those resources of love and presence freely. I think another way love works is that love, over time, works on us. It breaks down our resistance, breaks down our defenses, pokes and prods and nudges us in our wounded places, reminding us that healing and connection are closer than we think, woven into our roots. I think love is moving in the urge we feel to clean up the messes we've made. When we seek healing for our own wounds and the hurts we might have caused others. I think love is moving in us when we decide to get real about our own pain or someone else's. Turns out this is what fungi do too. Turns out fungi are marvelous at cleaning up contaminated soil, contaminated water, even whole ecosystems in a process called mycoremediation. Love that word, mycoremediation. From methane capture to oil spills to wildfire cleanup, fungi take the toxins in many of these situations, break them down into non-toxic components, pass on what's valuable, and store what's left safely underground. Fungi have been shown to break down petroleum hydrocarbons, diesel fuel, sulfur compounds, even tar. That's amazing. I love that image of these tiny hyphae, right, working microscopically to break down toxins. I love to think that's precisely what love does in our souls. Soul remediation. Infesting our roots, calling us out, reminding us that we are inextricably part of something infinitely larger and more miraculous than our individual selves. Inviting us to join this party of life. I've seen, and you probably have too, I've seen how love works on people. People who have sincere disagreements and even suspicions of each other. I've seen how love works in people to keep them in those relationships. I've seen how love caresses the impulse to fight or flee, how it nudges people to stay present, keep loving, keep those relationships healthy and productive. I've felt that impulse in myself, and I unabashedly identify it as love. I've seen people turn their entire lives around to care for a friend who was dying or going through a rough divorce. I've seen how love works to counterbalance human neuroses, isolation, loneliness, and trauma. I think of the dozens of people whose memorial services I have helped to organize or officiated. I think of the families and surviving spouses and siblings and children and sometimes parents that I have worked with, and the stories they tell, and the way lives have been woven together by blood and by time, by hardship and by care, by laughter and by learning. I tell you, hardly any of us are aware of just how much love we really have for our people and just how much love they have for us. How deep are the roots and filaments that bind us together? How miraculous and life-giving is that complicated ecosystem of love? So I don't pretend to know the mind of God, but I'm really struck by how love and fungi work in similar ways. One in the soil, one in our hearts, serving the same functions, weaving connections, keeping us nourished, storing our water. So I'm going to close with a short passage from the essayist David James Duncan. And he's writing here about having once heard Mother Teresa say, this is a quote, "May God break my heart so completely that the whole world falls in." This is David James Duncan writing. "May God break my heart so completely that the whole world falls in." The whole world? It gives me pause to realize that if such a prayer were said by me and answered by God, I would afterward possess a heart so open that even hate-filled zealots would fall inside. There is a self-righteous knot in me that finds zealotry so repugnant that it wants to sit on the sidelines with the like-minded and plaster our cars with bumper stickers that say, "Mean people suck," and "No billionaire left behind," and leave it at that. But my sense of the world as a gift, my sense of a grace operative in this world despite its terrors, propels me to allow the world to open my heart still wider, even if the openness comes by breaking. For I have seen the whole world fall into a few hearts, and nothing has ever struck me as more beautiful. May it be so.
Would you please rise in body and or spirit and join me in singing our closing affirmation. After the closing affirmation, please remain standing for our benediction. Behind all our differences and beneath our diversity, there is unity that makes us one, binds us forever together throughout all time. Life and death and the space between the stars. Throughout all time, life and death and the space between the stars.
Our benediction today is from the ever brilliant Marge Piercy. Connections are made slowly. You cannot always tell by looking at what is happening. More than half the trees spread out in the soil under your feet. Penetrate quietly as the earthworm that blows no trumpet. Fight persistently as the creeper that brings down the tree. Spread like the squash plant that overruns the garden. Gnaw in the dark and use the sun to make sugar. Weave real connections. Create real nodes. Build real houses. Live a life you can endure. Make love that is loving. Keep tangling and interweaving and taking more in, a thicket and bramble, wilderness to the outside, but to us it is interconnected with rabbit runs and burrows and lairs. This is how we will keep going for a long time. Every gardener knows that after the digging and the planting, after the long season of tending and growth, the harvest comes. Amen. Our service is ended. Thank you for being here today.